Hi everybody, this is Pam with Jesus Junk Journals, and we're going to go on with the Young Salvation Journal today. I'm going to start looking at materials to pull together, and I've got a journal card that I want to work on, so come on with me. So I have my sheets that I painted. Haven't cut them apart yet. And I've cut everything else out. Starting to gather materials that I might want to add. I got this card it's a Dayspring card, and it has this attachment, and it says he cares for you. And I've been saving it for a place to use it, and I think this would be a perfect place. So I'm going to put that in the journal somewhere. And then I have this cute pink giant rickrack trim. I'm going to use some of that maybe on the edge of a page or so. And then I have this reddish purple ribbon flowers trim that I got at Hobby Lobby, so I'm probably going to use some of that. And then I did take on that card, I cut it apart, and the inside of it had this pink pattern, and it's a good heavy paper stock with a texture to it. So this card that's in the kit, I cut it out and cut a piece out of this to glue on the back of it, and then I took a piece of the rayon ribbon in a color that I liked, and I just glued it in between the two. I used some Fabri-Tac on the ribbon, but the rest of it I did with my Barely art glue. And I'm going to ink the edges of that too. But anyway, so that's where I'm at. And then this is the inside of the card. It says, "I do too, thinking of you," because it says he cares for you on the cover with this little attachment. So I was trying to figure out, I think I can cut some tags and maybe keep the flowers and cut this up for tags. So I'll save that for later. And I've got this on a big baking sheet. I'm going to take it one piece at a time, and I think the first thing I'm going to do is the Salvation Folio. And so you'll want to get your 5 cards out, and then this is on a separate page, and those are the flaps that'll cover it up. So we'll start out with that. Okay, so this is sort of uncharted territory for me. I'm making this for an 11-year-old girl, so instead of using Distress ink to make it look old, I want to brighten it with Distress ink. So I've got ripe persimmon and candied apple. And I'm trying to just put a little bit of color on these steps for the Salvation Folio, and I'm gonna fold these up now and put a little bit more ink on them. But the thing is, you know, these printouts, because it's matte photo paper that I use, and it eats up the color in a way, it eats up the brightness, so you can never get that really, really bright color, which is usually fine because we don't want bright color for most of our journals. But on this one, in this case, I do. So I'm gonna try to use Distress ink to bring a little bit more life to the prints. So you fold these in a Z shape. So you're gonna fold it, I'm just gonna do it kind of like by hand, obviously by hand. I don't know what else, I don't know what I meant by that. And then I'm going to go ahead, since the line is on this side, I'm going to go ahead and fold it this way and then fold it back for my Z shape. And then you, of course, need a bone folder to make it sharp. So I'm going to fold that back like that, and then make it a really sharp, flat fold with that. And I'll speed through these so you don't have to watch me do this. Okay, and then I'm going to take my Barely Art glue and glue these 2 top portions together and make sure the edges are glued. Okay, so I've got those all glued. And then the other thing I need to do is finish cutting these doors apart. And folding those tabs. And you'll want to use the bone folder on that too, of course. Make sure it's nice and flat. And I'm gonna try, I don't know how this will do. I'm not the best at being subtle with distress inks. I would like it to be subtle and just kind of blend out, but I am, you know, I see Tim Holtz do it and he swirls it like this and it sort of looks lovely. And then when I do it, it gets kind of messy. So we'll see. Well, not too bad. So I'm doing some orange and orange, and then I'm going to come back with the red and put them in alternate places. So just to add some color that ties in with the inside. And I think on one of them, I think this one, I'm going to put a lot more color, like almost like color it in with some color of this, so that they're not both the same. So let's see how this one works. Not too bad. Not as bad as I was afraid it might do. Okay. And so, see, these are going to overlap like that. So I wanted one to be almost white and then one to have more color just to add some contrast. So, not too bad. I normally add just a little bit of red on the edge of this one, where I didn't already hit it with some orange. Okay. And then these are folded and glued. Now I'm going to go back with the inks and kind of, like I have a white flash on that one, so by inking the edges with color, it covers that up. And it also adds a little bit of brightness to the whole thing overall. So I'm just going to work with one color and then go switch over to the other one. Try not to hit it with one color only. Okay, so there's the red. Go back now with the orange. Hit what I didn't hit with the red. This one didn't want to fold right. Notice how I blamed it on the piece of paper. Not myself. Okay. All right. I think that's enough distress ink on there. So now I'm going to... actually, I haven't cut these pages apart, so I'm going to take a second here and I'll come back with these cut apart. Okay, so I have these pages folded, and this page, I'm going to put it in the center of the signature because I want it to be complete and not folded in half. So hopefully I can remember that. And let's see, this one I'm going to put like this because there are pockets that can go at the bottom to cover that up. You can probably hear my Boston Terrier snoring over there. Okay, so I don't know if this is how it will, if I'll keep it this way. I just kind of did a rough, I know this is in the middle and that's really all the main one that I care about. But I need to pick a page to glue this to, and it needs to be maybe one that I don't care about, don't like as much. And I honestly think I'm going to do it on this one. So you line these up, and they're numbered with these little numbers here. So God Loves You's number 1, 2, let's see, 3, 4, 5. But before you glue those on, you want to do the tabs. And so you might want to decide too if you want to. I think I will round the corner. I think I'll round the corner on these, which means I'm going to have to re-ink them. Let's see. So I'm just going to hit those with a little bit of ink here. Okay. And we're going to make the little circle closures for this. And so what that means is you're going to need to cut out, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. The way I do it, you can do it however you would like. I've explained in the past that I don't like to cut with an X-Acto knife, big thick cardboard to make my circles, so I cut it out of, anyway, I use this cardboard that comes out of my paper. There's one sheet of it on each side of my matte photo paper when I get it, and I save it, and I just draw around a 1-inch circle and cut them out with scissors, because I would rather cut 4 circles out with scissors than have to use X-Acto knife and cut through big heavy cardboard. And so what I do is I cut 2 of these out of this, and they're white, so I distress ink them with color, and then I glue a piece of paper on them, of brown paper usually, because I want them to look like the ones that you get in the office supply place. But you can use whatever color you want, and for this one I might use a different color or a different paper. So I'll show you what I'm going to do. So I'm going to cut these out with scissors. Okay, so I have 4 circles, and then I take my hole punch and cut it out of paper. So I'm going to find, so I have a tablet of paper that's Illustrated Faith, and it's perfect for this age and the person I'm doing this for, I think. And so I'm just going to look through here and see what I'm looking to see if there's any purple, but I really think I may have enough purple anyway. So what I'm going to do, maybe just look for one. I think I'm going to tear this Stand Tall and Be Courageous out, because I think what I'm going to do is add an extra page to the journal out of this paper. Here's another sheet from another packet from them. And I think I might just cut a circle out of this one. Okay, so that will be the top circle, and those will be underneath it. So I'm going to glue this to one of the circles. Oop. So the other thing I do is I cut just a little bit. I just do a shape. So out of this cardboard, I'm gonna cut a chunk off of here. I just cut like a, it doesn't have to be a circle. It can just be a shape. And it's just a spacer to go in the middle to kind of raise those two circles up apart from each other. So the string has a better way to go when it tries to wrap around it. So I just take a couple of spacers, and then I'm going to take a couple of these Tim Holtz long fasteners, and I'm going to use the copper ones, I guess. It doesn't really matter. Ah. Silver ones are trying to escape. Back in there. Okay. And then I need my awl from my bookbinding kit. And my little piece of styrofoam. And I'm going to, let's see, do I want to put these on? You know what I'm going to do first? Let me scoot this all over here to the side. I'm going to go ahead and glue these on to the page first. And that's my German Shepherd. All the dogs just want to be wherever you don't want them to be, and that is up in my craft room, so they're all up here with me. Okay, so make sure it's readable, and then look for your fold. Come over from your fold just a little bit. You don't want it right up against it because that's where the whole thing's going to be bound. So I'm going to come over just a hair. Make sure it lines up pretty well with the edge of the page so it doesn't get all crazy. And then this one you're going to glue on the very edge. And put the glue right, and you want glue right along that fold as much as possible. So this barely glue lets you kind of reposition a little bit so it's nice. Oops, or a lot. Got that pretty far off. So I kind of stick it on there, and then I come to the other side just to make sure it's as far to the edge as it can be and still be straight with the rest of it. Okay. So now you're ready to put the circles on. So I take the circle with the paper on it, and then one of the plain ones. Then I take one of these little spacers I cut, put that in the middle, make a little sandwich out of it. And then I take my awl, and I just poke it, I eyeball it, and just kind of poke it in what I think is the center. Kind of wiggle it, it'll go through. And then I want to figure out where I want these. And so I'm going to say about there on this side. So I'm going to go ahead and poke this one. The first one's not hard because that's going to determine where the other one goes. And then you put your little fastener through. And pull the feet apart. And you can put a little piece of washi tape over that. So now I just want to make sure I get straight across. So I'll make my next sandwich. Put my little spacer. Stab that in the middle. And I could measure, but that's not really who I am. So I can go kind of by this line of copy, sort of. And it's on this line, so that kind of tells me where it needs to go. And so I'm going to put it about here. Let's see, I want it kind of centered on this panel that as to the amount that's showing. So I'm going to say right there. So I'm just going to lift it up. Gently kind of work that all in. Pull it out. Put the brad through. Spread this feet apart. And there we have it. Okay, and so then the string, I'm going to use, I have black waxed thread. So I'm going to use that. So I'm going to put this around it. Try to get it in between those two circles if I can. Tie a knot, tie a double knot. Hope you can see this. Well, you know how to tie a double knot. It's not a big mystery. So she says. Okay, let me get this. Okay. All right, and then you want it to wrap. However many times you want it. Cut it off. And you're done. Okay, so we're going to open this up and glue these in now. So start at the top or the bottom. I wouldn't start in the middle. Okay. And glue these in. Try to get the glue around the edge as much as you can so when you open it and shut it, it works well. And I did not mention this, but you want to make sure you left room in between your flaps to put these. So I'm going to put that as close up, I think, to the top as I can. Make sure everything closes. And find number 2. There is room to put these. There will be a little bit of a space between them, not a whole lot. So actually I said don't start in the middle, but I think what I'm going to do is move to the bottom maybe. Make sure these shut. You don't want to get over one side one way or the other so it doesn't shut. I think I'm going to come to the bottom now and put it at the bottom so I can judge how to space them a little bit, just a little bit better. So if I put this all the way to the bottom, make sure it shuts. And that one's kind of over a little bit too far. And I'm going to lift it up. It'll bind, and you don't want that. So I'm going to take it off, re-glue it. So if you lift that fold up, you can kind of see how much room you have. So okay, and then number 4. We'll leave a little bit of a space. goes in there. So yeah, that'll work. So put that in the middle. So you kind of split the difference of the space. Okay, and that is that. And then these shut whichever direction you want them to shut. And they don't shut completely flat because these do take up room. I mean, they're 3 thicknesses of paper and then folded, so you will get a little bit of bulk, but that's no way around that. Let's see. I just want to wrap it like that. And that is the Salvation folder. All right, so that's it for this video, and we will come back and do some more awesome stuff. Thanks for watching. Click the like button if you like the video, and think about subscribing, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.